to another episode of the GPP. I know that this is season 2, episode 18, I want to say. Yes, my script tells me that this is episode 18, coming at you to bless your eyeballs if you're over on YouTube, and your eardrums if you're only on Spotify, Apple Music, or any of those. While I'm mentioning those podcast hosting venues, if you will, make sure you like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Share it with your friends so that this podcast makes it out to as many people as possible, because chances are they need the GPP in their life to improve their own general physical preparedness. And who else to bring it to you than your host, as always, the _ Squat Father. Again, never will I say the _ Squat Father. It is the. We are medieval times. I want to confuse people when I say it. So like, how do you spell that? T-H-E-E? It's like, no, it's the T-H-E. No second E on there. What are we talking about today? Jam-packed episode. Again, as always, memes and things is packed. Reddit question, probably my favorite Reddit question that we've had to this point. It really hits home for me personally. So you're going to hear a lot of my personal opinions on it, backed with the evidence that is, so necessary to answering those Reddit questions. Silly questions, but always good answers for you. Today we are talking about a big I told you so from me, yours truly. Nothing that I prefer more than issuing out a very large I told you so about a certain fitness health podcaster who has been a sham from the start, guys. It's been a sham from the start, so it's just now coming out, like, get with the times here. And a greater conversation about fitness podcasting as a whole. We are going to talk about a well-kept secret in the diet beverage space. We're going to talk about one of the smartest content creators. We're going to talk about a bad content creator to start, and then a good content creator. I'm going to balance it out, One of the best content creators in the CrossFit space. A guy who doesn't understand digestion, going back to our roots of just making fun of people. And some more weird food stuff. I want to make that a permanent fixture of memes and things, is people who make weird food stuff. Pizza crust with 50 grams of protein in it. Why? Just eat regular old pizza crust. It's not that bad. It's not a bad thing to just eat some. I don't even like pizza. Just eat some pizza crust every once in a while. Doesn't have to be some crazy, but we'll get into that. I already said it, but rate, subscribe, thumbs up, do all that stuff. Comment again. Leave 5 comments in a row. You've got a comment that you want to make. It probably has 11 to 15 words in it. This is a great podcast. You can leave that as one comment, or you can leave that as separate comments, and then you can leave comments on those to really jam this up in the algo. That would really make me happy. This week's big offering, this week's episode is sponsored by, for real this time, the GiIFTED Michigan Meetup. If you are a GiIFTED client and you are watching this and you are in the Michigan area, or you're outside of the Michigan area and you want to travel to the great state of Michigan for our meetup, make sure that you are following GiIFTED-HQ over on Instagram so that you can get updated with that. We've got some more information, dates, times, pricing, specials for all of that coming your way very, very soon here within the next couple days of this podcast releasing. So just make sure that you have your eyes on those space so that you can mark that date on your calendar, not one that you want to miss. Our South Florida meetup was obviously a big success, had a lot of fun. A lot of people came out to that, enjoyed our company, or enjoyed each other's company, enjoyed specifically my company, enjoyed each other's company, got some food, had a couple drinks, did some training. It was fun. Good time. Can't wait to do it in Michigan. I personally won't be there. Child, travel, hard, but you should be there. All right, let's not waste any time on the intro. Let's get into memes and things.
Memes and things.
The first piece on our docket today is what I've been waiting weeks for, months for. Honestly, I've probably been waiting like a year for this, for all this to come to light. Because I've been telling people this for a while. I've been saying this guy's a fraud, doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at the ads that he's running. Look at the companies that he's pairing with. Look at the products that he's promoting. You can't tell me that this guy is not a fraud. You can't tell me that this guy understands and has the viewers, the listeners' best interests at heart when he's promoting these companies. And his name is good old Andrew Huberman. So There was some stuff about Huberman that came out of like, infidelity and multiple women and this, that, and the other. And that stuff is, that's out. That's the Tiger Woods phenomenon. It's like everyone was like, okay, Tiger Woods is a great golfer, but he cheats on his wife. It's like, well, no one's looking at him as like a counselor, a marriage counselor. Where the example of a godly man is swing the club, hit the ball. That's what we like to see. Win majors, do all that good stuff. So when that came out, that always confused me. So when the Huberman stuff came out, that was like, oh, he's sleeping with multiple women. It's like, who cares? Who cares who he sleeps with? That's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is that he doesn't really understand what he's talking about on his podcast. So it really came to light, and I'm not going to harp on this too much. I want this to just be a simple, quick, I told you so on this one. No bullshit physio did a really, really good breakdown on this. I also don't know how you can have bullshit in your Instagram tag. I thought that you weren't allowed to make like inappropriate curse. I don't know. I guess you could like have your nipples out on Instagram. So what's the word bullshit when everyone's got their nipples out, So no bullshit physio on this post. This is hard. It's like the hardest part of being on a pod. This post. Yes, I did it. Struggle. Jake, give him like a Microsoft loading thing for my brain trying to figure that one out. This post right here is a really good one from No Bullshit Physio in terms of the big one that came to light was this strong and pain-free back. So it's like you want to make a splash. You want to piss people off. Piss the physios, piss the PTs, the physical therapists, the people who spend a lot of money and a lot of time getting their degree. Piss them off by just saying some absolute nonsense about, pain-free back, strong, this, that, the other, the nerves of the spine. This is how the spine works. So No Bullshit Physio and Rehab Chiro did a podcast on this. I would recommend listening to it if you are someone who's an advocate for Andrew Huberman and you think that Huberman's, what he's promoting has everyone's best interest at heart. Huberman came out, made some comments about, his fiduciary responsibility and that governs the things that he talks about. It's like, dude, it's like the nicest way or like the most veiled way, the murkiest way to say, listen, I've sold out. I'm in too deep. I have a fiduciary responsibility, aka the people who pay my fucking bills want me to say this stupid stuff about cold plunge and sauna and element and athletic greens. It's like, if you've ever seen Andrew Huberman promote something on the podcast, throw it in the fucking trash. Don't spend any more money on it. It is a waste of your money. Just get rid of it. Completely get rid of it. And if you need an explanation as to why you should get rid of it, holler at your boy. Holler at No BS Physio. Holler at the Rehab Chiro. Holler at the 1 million people who have already called this man out, because the veil has been lifted, and behind it is not some genius neuroscientist, whatever. It's just another charlatan. And this is a greater example here, right? Huberman is just the new version of Rhonda Patrick. Rhonda Patrick was the new version of Joe Rogan giving health and fitness advice. Stop getting your health and fitness advice, or stop taking blanket health and fitness advice from podcasters without fact checking it. Please. Or at least get someone in your life that has no financial involvement whatsoever, no financial interest, nothing to gain to fact check these things for you, because you're going to waste a lot of time and you're going to waste a lot of money going into what these people think is legitimate. I can promise you right now that it's not. So be careful. Andrew Huberman won't be the last one. He simply slotted in and took Rhonda Patrick's spot. Rhonda Patrick said, she said some goofy shit about saunas and broccoli and whatnot. And everyone was like, whoa, okay, no, not anymore. We're done with you. We're moving over to this neuroscientist guy, Andrew Huberman, because he has my best interests at heart. Rhonda, you lost me. Stop. Just stop. Huberman, Lane Norton, Rhonda Patrick, Joe Rogan, all these people who blow up and get millions of followers, millions of views, millions of likes, all that, and they're just shilling these products to you. Just stop. As soon as they start shilling the products, they don't have a reasoning for why that checks out and makes sense and is evidence-based and maybe they're not making money off of it. That's a good little metric right there. Maybe then you can listen to them. But a nice I told you so. Andrew Huberman, RIP, bud. You had a really good ride. I'm sure you made a metric fuck ton of money. So who cares? You got millions of views, all of that. Much like Liver King, what we saw with the Liver King. Exposed, views went here, let it blow over, views went right back up. The same thing will happen with Andrew Huberman. This post from No BS Physio has 4,100 likes. Andrew Huberman's episodes get 3 million, 5 million, 10 million views. So drop in the bucket. Huberman will keep going. If you're watching this podcast, if you're a follower of GiIFTED, of No BS Physio, of the Rehab Chiro, of anyone, in the evidence-based space, especially when it comes to pain-free back training, getting your back strong, physiology of the spine as a whole, you're in the know now. So you're better off for it. Spread that message to as many people as you can. Leave it at that. Don't spend too much time getting frustrated about things like this. Moving right along. What's next? Ooh, I know what's next. I'm going to put you guys on. This is unrelated, not evidence-based, kind of health and fitnessy. I'm going to put you on to something that has changed my life for the better, and I think you should too. The premier, outside of Diet Coke, so the premier non-carbonated diet beverage right now. That's a picture of me when I was bodybuilding. Pulled up the wrong asset. That's a Reddit question. Wrong asset again. How about this one? Ha-ha! There it is. This right here. The best diet beverage on the market right now. Diet Ruby Red Grapefruit Juice.
Oh, Diet Ocean Spray. You're my number one. Quenching all my thirst, you're my favorite fun. Ruby Red Grapefruit. You're the sweetest squeeze. In this crazy world, you're my perfect tease.
It's 5 calories. I think there's like 40 calories in the whole thing. Easy to drink it in one sitting. Very easily. I water it down so it lasts longer, just because that's kind of the frugal individual that I am. But this stuff right here, it is the premier. Cran Grape by Ocean Spray is not far behind, but I honestly think if Ocean Spray reached out and they're like, hey, dude, you're pretty juicy. Can we sponsor you and send you some juice? I honestly think that I would probably be richer than Andrew Huberman at this point with the amount of money that I'm dumping into Ocean Spray diet juices. And if you do have a soda stream, I would recommend diluting this by about half and then carbonating it to really change your life. That's probably 1A, 1B with Diet Coke. So I'll keep Diet Coke at 1A, but 1B, very, very close behind. Almost the equivalent would be a carbonated diet grapefruit juice. And a lot of people say, oh, Ryan, you have to try, Spindrift, or you have to try, what's other shit? LaCroix. You have to try that stuff. It's grapefruit. It's flavored. It's not the same. It's not even close. How do you even like that stuff? Stuff doesn't taste like anything. It just tastes like bubbles and then the tiniest little hint of flavor. Spindrift, LaCroix. Artificial flavors are super cheap. Pump those flavors up. Pump the amount that's in there way up. Or at least make a Spindrift 5X for people like myself. But you know what I have found that's actually a very good diet? I didn't know it was grapefruit flavored. Diet grapefruit flavored soda is Squirt. It's funny because it's called Squirt. And a lot of people think that it's actually pee, but it's not. It's diet grapefruit soda. Yeah, see? Bet you didn't know that. But I have been somewhat of a squirter lately. Good stuff. I'm a fan. All right, let's move it along. Into something valuable here. Moving our stuff back over. All right, there's our Huberman post. All right, here's someone's profile that I found recently that I can't stop watching his videos. I think this guy's probably one of the smartest people in the CrossFit space right now. The captions, always really quality stuff. But this is the first post that I found from him that I actually really, really enjoyed. I sent this over to Tom and I was like, dude, this guy is, aside from you and I, this guy might be the smartest guy in CrossFit. He's talking about ton of CrossFitters are doing crazy high amounts of AMRAPs, high lactic, high energy expenditure, tons of anaerobic work. And this is stuff that I've been harping on for God knows how long, but they're just not working on their base training. I think this is some of the best explanation in terms of people who really like numbers and want to quantify this stuff of how much base training to do throughout the year, how much to do over your career, how much to do over, a single season, a single off season, how to taper that into, your in-season period, and explained very well in the caption as well. So, I feel like I wrote this question, or I feel like I wrote this caption because I felt the same way as Paul here. This is Paul B. Weber for anyone who's on audio only. That's Weber with 1B. Caption says, I've met a lot of CrossFitters who are doing a ton of lactic AMRAPs. That's like all of them being in a chronic energy deficit. Not so much on the men's side here. A lot of women are doing the chronic energy deficit side of things. If I occupy a smaller body, I'll be better at CrossFit, yada, yada, yada. Not necessarily the case whatsoever. Trying to get anaerobic adaptations, frustrated, they're chronically injured, and they're not making any progress. Base training, 100%. He calls it base training. Some people call it zone 2 training. Some people call it aerobic capacity, aerobic power. He calls it base training. More extensive, less intense training makes up around 66 to 80% of your volume over the course of the year. So this is, heart rate zones 120 to 140, not mixed modal, single domain, what Tom and I call parking your ass on a bike for 4-5 hours a week. Building up that aerobic system so that when you move over to those anaerobic training sessions, you can get the most out of them. You can do more back-to-back AMRAPs. You can hit your intervals harder and recover faster between those. So this was the first post that I found from Paul that popped up on my timeline, and I really liked it. And then I just kind of went down a rabbit hole. I'm just going to highlight some of my favorites here. And then Jake can throw the links in the show notes just so we don't spend fucking hour listening to all of his stuff. Priorities in the off season, how to prioritize, what you need to, low hanging fruit. What should your off season look like? What should your competition season look like? 245 out of 275 days a year, working on your individual weaknesses. This is why, blog style programming, not one-to-one, even group programming. So, companies like, or coaching groups like Brute, coaching groups like TTT, maybe your gym has something like this. They create amazing athletes, but what their programming is when it's expanded out over large groups, you lose that individualization, and then you lose kind of how to maximize your adaptations. If you're someone who wants to get better at CrossFit, by all means, follow HWPO, Proven, TTT, your gyms, group programming, whatever it is. You will 100% get better simply by doing the activities consistently at intensities that match up with what's conducive to getting results. If you want to be the best that you possibly can, you need to hire a coach. You can hire Tom, Mr. Tom Bot himself. You can hire me. And unpaid advertisement here, you can go hire Paul. This guy, Paul, seemingly knows his shit. I competed against one of his guys at TFX. Cole was his name. Guy was very, very fit. And apparently, Paul just posted about him the other day. Apparently, a couple years ago, he was not quite as fit. So, proof's in the pudding. This guy seems to know his stuff. Unfound, right? 108 likes. This is another post that I really enjoyed from him. High intensity and low intensity. How to match that up. Recommendations on lactate thresholds. And what I think is something that has gotten missed recently, the zone 1 training. Everyone wants to talk about zone 2 training as if there are no adaptations that occur in zone 1. Significant aerobic adaptations, mitochondrial biogenesis, capillary density increases, aerobic enzymatic activity increases, fuel shifts, fiber type shifts that benefit your endurance capacity. So bike, Stairmaster, And I think I'm just highlighting this guy's stuff because I agree with him on everything. He says Stairmaster. I actually think Stairmaster is probably not the best. Stairmaster is okay. Running is not a good choice in terms of if you're trying to accumulate a large amount of zone 1 and zone 2 training or volumes in those zones. Unless you are a runner, you really shouldn't be running. Biking, Stairmaster. I would even throw in, if you have access to like a Globo gym, like elliptical, something low impact so you don't have that to recover from. Paul, we agree here as well. And the last one on from Paul is, how many high intensity sessions, conditioning sessions to do, and what might be the reason why certain athletes will benefit from less training and doing that training at higher intensity. So, a lot of my clients that I work with, and it seems like Paul's in a similar boat here, is a lot of the clients that I work with are busy individuals. They have kids, they have a job, they have stuff to attend to outside of training. They're not full-time athletes, which is where a lot of the advice from, content creators in the CrossFit space is like, oh, well, this is how you want to train if you want to get better at CrossFit. It's like, well, that's advice for a full-time CrossFitter, someone who has 4 hours a day to put towards this. It's like, I've got clients that have 40 minutes a day to train. What should their training look like? It shouldn't look like a lot of zone 1 and zone 2. These aren't people that are trying to win the CrossFit games. These are people that are just trying to get fitter and get better at CrossFit. For those individuals where time is limited, the intensity has to be ratcheted up. And that's, what this video is here. So balancing all of that, how to get it done in 2, 3, 4 sessions a week if you are crunched on time. Paul speaks across the spectrum. Mr. Weber here speaks across the spectrum. He knows very well what it takes to become an elite CrossFitter, but he also understands that there are people who want to get a lot better, but simply don't have the same amount of time to allot towards that. I like Paul. I like him. Good dude. I can always retract this statement. I endorse Paul Weber as a CrossFit coach. Paul, if you need any help on the nutrition side of things, hit us up. GiIFTED HQ. We'd be happy to partner up and handle the nutrition for all of your clients if you're not doing that already. 52 likes. 52 fucking likes on us. Guys, this is quality shit. Go follow this man. Like his stuff. Tell him that he's fantastic. Does it have any comments? Doesn't even have any comments. Oh, it has one. Now, if some would explain this to the gyms, we might see a change in reputation. Oh, he put a sample training program here too. Oh, cool. Very cool. All right, go like his stuff, follow him, share it. Super smart guy. CrossFit is headed towards an intellectual renaissance. We're moving away from the days of I'm just going to follow Rich Froning or Matt Fraser's training to I'm going to follow some people who actually have a strong understanding of exercise physiology and get coached by them because they're the ones that know how to actually make me specifically better or the best that I can possibly be over time. I endorse Paul. Go follow him, like his stuff, comment, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now we're going to move from someone who's very smart, Paul, to someone who's very stupid. Aaron Reed, big boy, big dude in the bodybuilding space, very, very strong following, gets absolutely dismantled in the comments on everything that he posts. Really gets ratioed in these comments, like not what you want to see. My computer's breaking. All right, there we go. We're back. All right, gets ratioed in the comments. Tells people to stop putting peanut butter, but abuses a shit ton of steroids. Divorced steroid adult father of 3. Do not forget the test trend in Adderall. 100% true facts. Ultra processed sugar. Promotion of steroids is insane. Keep it fucking simple. Yeah. All right. Cool. So it gets manhandled. Gets bodied in the comments on literally everything he posts, which is always fun to watch. But all right, here's his advice. And we're going to come back to why he's bigger than you, dude. Can give advice. Just wait. We're going to come back to that. You guys still putting peanut butter in your fucking post-workout protein shake? Stop doing that. I don't know how many different times I got to tell you, your body doesn't need fat after you crushed it in the gym and burned through all your sugars Just sugar, protein, creatine, glutamine, any amino acids, whatever you're doing. That's it. Keep it simple. Don't worry. You'll thank me later with a wink. The wink was cute. The wink was a good touch. I like that. Now, before I tell you guys why this is stupid, a lot of people say this. A lot of people say, oh, keep the fats low, pre-workout, post-workout, keep your fats low. We'll talk about why that's not really the best advice ever. But first things first, let's take a gander over here at, boom. I'm going to increase the size of this. Man, Ryan over on the far left, me, myself, and I, the squat father himself, over on the left, looking like an absolute brick shithouse. This was at the Tampa Bay Classic in 2015. Heavyweight division right here. I think I weighed at like 214, 215 at this show. Very, very dialed in. I think I lost in the overall to the light heavyweight, maybe. I don't know, some like Spanish guy who had an insane physique. Definitely deserved to beat me. But who is that on my right? Right in the picture, left of me on stage. Who is that on my right? Oh my God, it's none other than don't put peanut butter in your protein shakes, Aaron Reed himself. So the reason that I can call this guy stupid is because we've competed against each other in bodybuilding and I wiped him. Absolutely waxed that ass. Clapped those cheeks, boy. This is funny because my mom, shout out to old Miss Cindy Zeisloft herself, my mama, was in the stands, or was obviously sitting in the crowd, and Aaron's family was in front of me, or in front of them, my mom. And when this photo was taken, like right when we lined up, after this round of poses, they moved him to the outside and me to the middle. And his family was like, oh, what a joke. Like, that guy's so small. Like, why are they moving him to the middle? Like, look at Aaron. Aaron's huge compared to him. Don't matter. Because Aaron, it's like 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag up there, son. I destroyed you. Love it. Love these old bodybuilding photos. Now, what would happen if Aaron and I competed in bodybuilding in like 6 weeks? Probably not good things for me. But it doesn't matter because we got on stage next to each other one time and I won. And that's all it takes. All right, so back at it here with Mr. Reed himself, talking about no peanut butter. Now, this actually speaks to a greater issue in the fitness space as a whole. And that issue is that a lot of the advice that fitness content creators are giving out these days is like old advice pulled from like field sports or from athletes who are training multiple times a day. So the reason why people say don't put fats in your pre-workout meal or in your post-workout shake is that it slows down digestion. That's 100% correct. That is factual. It will slow down digestion. And if your goal is to get carbohydrates in before a training session or after a training session so you can start to, replenish those glycogen stores before your next training session, then Aaron's advice is great. But Aaron's a bodybuilder who trains one time a day. And if your goal is to build as much muscle as possible or retain as much muscle as possible during a fat loss phase, then your biggest priorities are going to be your protein intake and the calorie intake. Getting your protein in, getting your calories in. Is peanut butter a great source of protein? Not really, but it has some protein in it. 3 tablespoons of peanut butter will get you like 11 grams of protein, which is not an insignificant amount of it. And if you're someone who struggles with appetite and you really want to get your calories up, putting protein in a shake after your workout is a great way to get extra calories. So if we're trying to build muscle, biggest priorities are going to be protein intake and total calories over the course of the day. Timing only matters if you're doing multiple sessions a day, if there's a serious need for you to replenish glycogen. Even the hardest bodybuilding training session at most is going to burn through 40 to 60% of your total stored glycogen in your body. And that is a hard session. So Aaron also misspeaks when he says, when you just worked out and you burned through all of your sugars. Not the case at all. 40 to 60% depletion on the top end. You are not going to deplete your glycogen stores. So replenishment of those, while it's important, is more so a 24-hour issue before that next training session rather than something that immediately needs to occur. This isn't new. This isn't new information. This is information that has existed for a while. This 5, 6, 7-year-old research here. But again, these old stigmas, these old dogmas around nutrition and training and peri-workout nutrition, what should I be eating directly before, during, and after, largely in the scope of, amateur, even professional bodybuilding, these things don't matter much. So stop taking advice. I won't say stop taking advice. What I'll say is bodybuilders, physique sport athletes need to stop taking information that was put out into the space for field sports or for multiple training sessions a day athletes and applying it to bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is a very, very different sport, and it can be simplified down quite a bit to where we don't have to worry about putting peanut butter in our protein shakes. However, if you do want to be really entertained, just go to this guy's profile, click on literally any one of his photos, any one of his posts where he's shirtless in his pool talking like this, and just read the comments. The guy gets absolutely blasted, which I don't think necessarily he deserves. I don't think is the worst advice that I've ever seen in the bodybuilding space, but it is good. It is fun to watch. It's fun to read through, and I beat him. And better luck next time. And the next time will be never, because I might never do a bodybuilding show again. So you'll have to live the rest of your career knowing that CrossFit guy from the podcast whooped my ass. All right, moving on. Something serious. Let's move over to something less serious. A passion of mine. Weird food shit. Weird food shit over on Instagram. All right, carnivore people. Carnivore people are so stupid. Don't look at their content. Paul Saladino's an asshole. All of these things are true, but stop living your life and excluding yourself from such great content. It's fun to watch. Look at this lady, Serena Carnivore. This is bonkers. This day of eating is insane. All right, first things first. What are we going to start our day with? Looks like a cup of coffee. We're going to put a raw egg in that. We're going to mix that. Oh, it's decaf coffee. At least it's decaf. It's healthy. Added a couple tablespoons of my new favorite treat. This is whipped chocolate beef fat. You heard that right. So you cook up some ground beef. All right. Say you get some 80-20 beef. Strain out the beef. Keep the fat. Let it settle. Add cocoa powder and whip that. That is what she's putting in her coffee. With a raw egg yolk. Disgusting. That's so gross. All right, what's next? All right, we're cutting out the egg white. No one likes egg white. Pure yolks in cans. No, lids. Nice. Well, that's like the McDonald's trick. That's how they cook their stuff. Breakfast sandwich. Yolks are the bread. We got a sausage in the middle. Egg yolks and a piece of sausage. All right, now later on in the day, 1 beef liver. You actually kind of get used to it. It's pretty good with some salt and pepper. Those are the words of a woman who doesn't actually enjoy it. She's just convinced herself that she enjoys it, and she's trying to convince you too. That's like putting salt and pepper on nickels and then eating those nickels. It's very metallic taste. Beef liver, not great. Micronutrient-wise, fantastic. Great for you. Tons of things that people are missing out on from a vitamins and minerals standpoint. Taste, pretty bad. Cup of hot water, and you guessed it, we're going 6 tablespoons of whipped beef fat. Almost like having a hot chocolate. So these carnivore people, when they put their food out there, like, it tastes pretty good. You get used to it. It's almost like hot chocolate. What they really mean is, this is very, very gross, and it does not taste good. But here is the best part of the entire video right here. Her macros for the day. Here are my macros for the day. She's having roughly 1,600 calories. Okay, 600 calories. 45 grams of protein. 45 grams of protein for the entire day. That's not a single meal. That's the entire day. 7 grams of carbs, which her app is telling us is 7 grams over. Her target is 0. And drumroll please, 151 grams of fat. 151 grams of fat, 45 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs. What? These are the most insane, like 0 grams of fiber, bowel movements. I have to know, like I have to DM this lady and say, please, this is not weird, so don't make it weird. What do your poops look like? What do your bowel movements look like when this is all you eat? When you eat 150 grams of fat, 45 grams of protein, 7 grams of carbs, what does your poop look like? I have to know, and not because I'm some weirdo who has some like fetish for poop. It's just with the food going in, curiosity of what comes out. Maybe you leave that down in the comments below. What do you think Serena.carnivore's poops look like? Very, very interesting. It looks like she also cooked her eggs in bacon grease. Very much like that. Basically, tons of beef liver, calf, beef tallow. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Carnivore people, don't stop. Don't let everyone who's saying, oh, the carnivore diet's stupid, don't do that, it hurts your health. Don't let them stop you. Keep going. If anything, ratchet it up. Go even harder. All right, what's our next weird food thing? Oh, Jillian Gottlieb. So, I don't know how this would taste. My first inclination is that it would taste really gross, but I've never tried it. So I'll put it out there for you guys. We'll see what she's working with. It is a 50 gram of protein pizza crust. So the pizza itself, if you freeze here, it doesn't look too bad. I'm not a pizza guy, but this pizza doesn't look horrible. Well presented. All right, so the pizza crust is just cottage cheese. Put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Sprinkle some Parmesan on top of it, garlic powder and Italian seasoning, and then you bake it until it becomes like a cheese, like a crispy cheese layer at the bottom. And then you sauce it and cheese again on top and put some seasonings on it. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm really torn on this. And then she shows you how to make it if it's air fried as well. If you don't want to bake it, you can apparently air fry it. It's one of those things where it's like, maybe you guys have tried the cloud bread before. I wasn't super impressed with cloud bread. It kind of just tasted like gross, weird air. This one, I think it's weird. It's definitely weird, but I there's potential that it might actually be good. I think it would be better than cauliflower crust pizza because cauliflower is like inherently very wet and it's hard to get the moisture out of there and like pack it down. You can't make like flour out of it. This is almost like, you know, when you get a burger and it has like the Parmesan crisp on it, and it's just like the Parmesan or the cheese, whatever, in the pan, and they just melt it and crisp it and they put it on. It's pretty good. This might be like that. And, you know, with fat-free cottage cheese, tons of protein, lower on the calorie side. So if you are a pizza enthusiast, give this a shot. Let me know how it tastes. I feel like the cottage cheese itself will be very neutral, kind of influenced by what's on top of it. And it definitely won't be, have you guys seen like the Quest pizza? The macros on that are horrible macros on that. I feel like this could outperform that. So Jillian, this is either really, really, really gross or you're onto something. I wanted to lean towards gross, but I'm leaning towards she might be onto something. But that's mostly because I'm a cottage cheese enthusiast. But let's move on to someone who's definitely not onto something with their weird food item, and that's carrot tuna. Zooming out, just a greater analysis of vegan culture, vegetarian food interventions as a whole. Why you guys make everything like meat? Why is it like, oh, try this new carrot hot dog, try this new, impossible burger patty that's made of soy lecithin and stabilizers that are plant-based? Can't you just eat the plants? Can't you just, I thought the thing was that you didn't want the meat and the meat was gross. Why are you making your plants into meat-based? Why you gotta do that? Can't you just eat it? Can't you just eat plants? Can't you just eat carrots? Why do you have to turn carrots into tuna? All right, let's look at it. Carrot tuna 101. So Juicing the carrots, saving the pulp, and then we're adding all of these ingredients here. It looks like we're adding celery, red onion, vegan mayo, mustard, lemon juice, extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, paprika, grated garlic, and a ton of furikake. I wonder if that's like bukake. First comment, Lovergirl223, it's not tuna. This is a salad. Jesus fucking Christ, y'all are odd. Please never delete this. So, mixed reviews. Some people are like, hey, this isn't fucking tuna. And those people are right. And then there's people that are like, hey, this might taste good. And those people are probably wrong. All right, and then we just mix it all up. And we put it on a cracker? I actually didn't watch this video all the way through. So it's carrot pulp, and then you mix it up and you pretend it's tuna. Have you guys had carrot pulp before? It's not like good. It's not like juicy and succulent and, you know, it doesn't have good mouthfeel. It's kind of sawdusty. You just throw a bunch of other stuff in there and we're going to act like it's tuna. I bet their extra virgin olive oil and the mayo like brings it to life a little bit. Again, just weird. Like vegetarians, just eat plants. Stop eating meat. Stop turning plants into meat. So you can be like, hey, look at this vegan tuna. It's not, hey, look at this dry water. So such a thing as vegan tuna. It's either tuna and it's not vegan, or it's fucking carrots and it's not tuna. All right? What are we thinking here? What are we doing? Stop vegan hot dog made of carrots. Tuna made of carrots. Impossible meat made of soybeans. No. You're either eating meat or you're not. I decree it. Stop with this weird stuff. What do you guys think? Tastes good? Tastes bad? I don't know. Up in the air. Tuna salad. Not tuna salad. Weird Instagram name as well. Green Lady Badger. Jake, AI, show me what a Green Lady Badger looks like. Ready, set, Green Lady Badger.
Green lady badger in the wall so wild, living her life with a vegan style. Chewing on leafy greens, nothing else she eat. An eco warrior, champion of the fleet. She hops around without sea flare, leaves falling behind in the greenest air, annoying the haters with her lively song.
Weird. Definitely weird. All right, so that concludes our section of memes and things. We are moving on to my favorite post from Instagram this week over on the Gifted HQ page. It comes from Mr. Dr. Mike Taylor himself. I love this meme format. So it's just like you take Mike Taylor and this meme format, you put them together. Very, very up my alley, if you will. You know, we're talking about rehab mindset. How do you win when it comes to rehab? Do you want to be objective? Very objective. Here's what's happening. Here's what I'm feeling. Here's the progress. Or do you want to be optimistic? You know, yes, I'm feeling this, but, you know, it's improvements on this. Mike's whole point here is both of these should exist. These two wolves should exist inside of you at the same time. So Mike was talking with one of his clients, and they asked him the question, how do you decide when to gas people up and when to bring them back to earth? Always gas them up. Eventually that loses its effect. If you only bring them down to earth, they lose some of that optimism. Mike says, they noticed that for their current injury, the approach I was advocating for was a bit more conservative than what we had utilized for a previous issue. Clinical reasons for this, but also it was just what I believed they needed at the time. Believed what they needed at the time, specific to the individual, which is why Mike is one of the best practitioners in the space. Client first mentality. To be honest, the rehab process is a big mental game. You need to find a balance between optimism and objectivity. Couldn't agree more there. Are you too optimistic? You end up gaslighting yourself into thinking you're doing it better than you actually are, missing opportunities for improvement along the way. Are you too objective? You could wind up getting down in the dumps over your current state, ignoring the potential, getting drawn down, getting pulled down into a negative mental state by setbacks. It's a balancing act. Sometimes you need to feed one wolf more than the other. It's what he loves about the rehab coaching space. It's why he's one of the best in the game. Which wolf do you need to feed right now for your specific condition? Last but not least, the only thing that you should be telling yourself, whether you're being objective or optimistic, or something that you should always be saying is fuck it, we ball. No matter what, we ball. I like this meme format too. Rehab. Which button do we push? Fuck it, we ball? Or it'd be like that sometimes. Optimistic, or are we going to be objective? So I definitely recommend, we'll link this down below if you want to read more, if you want to work through all of these slides. I think the caption really, encapsulates how I feel about this as a whole and the message that Mike was trying to get out there. But if you want to read more, by all means, get into that post from Mike. Mike, thank you. Always good to have you opine on things like this and put your unique perspective out into the space. Mid-roll ad overlord Jake, like we talked about last week, I don't answer to you. I answer only to myself. With that said, I have a new favorite type of content on Instagram, and it is text conversations with Minecraft videos in the background. Again, this is real brainless, stupid shit that I'm on lately. I'm gonna put you guys onto it as well. I posted this on my story, and like 5 people DM me, and they're like, "Yo, this is some good shit." But that is my new favorite type of content. And what Jake and I have been doing, we found the software that they were using. We've been putting people's bios and like the GiIFTED HQ bio into it and like putting it over songs. Jake, whatever one is your favorite one, just put it over some Minecraft footage and just let it rip. Right now, let the people have it.
Ryan Zeisloft, also known as the squad father, has over 10 years of experience training and competing in bodybuilding, functional fitness, and Olympic weightlifting. Functional fitness and Olympic weightlifting. He has a bachelor's of science in exercise science and a master's of science in applied exercise physiology from the University of Central Florida. He is also a certified strength and conditioning specialist, tactical strength and conditioning facilitator, certified sports nutritionist, and a USA weightlifting sports performance coach. Ryan Zeisloft, also known as the squad father, has over 10 years of experience training and competing in bodybuilding, functional fitness, and Olympic weightlifting. Functional fitness and Olympic weightlifting. But he does not shy away from working with general population clients who simply want to improve their health, fitness, and performance. As a self-described physiculturist, Ryan believes that bettering oneself through optimizing training and nutrition is one of the most fulfilling goals that one can see.
And that was some good stuff, right? How good was that? Can't beat that. That's good content right there. So if this episode gets 1 like, we'll just start posting this stuff on the GiIFTED HQ page. Let the shit posting begin from the main business page. We like that. All right. Last but not least, as always, we conclude with our Reddit question of the day. Excuse me, as I click through assets, I forget which one was the Reddit question. There's the Reddit question. Let's make this a little bigger. All right. This is a super weird question. That's okay. That's what we go to Reddit for. We like these super weird questions. All right. The question comes from, what is that? Allfather0021. I don't know. It's really small on my screen. We'll say Allfather0021. What kills you on eating ramen noodles all the time? So if you're eating ramen noodles all the time, what kills you? Is it the lack of nutrition or the noodles themselves? What? All right, let's keep going. I'll correct your grammar. An Asian snack shop closed down near me. The owner just gave me a ton of noodle packets. I love making ramen. I add meat and veggies, etc. Plan on surviving off ramen noodles, but worry about how people have been hospitalized over it. Any advice? Dude, what? Who's getting hospitalized over eating ramen? You've literally stumbled into my dream scenario. Someone just gave you a bunch of what is arguably one of my favorite foods, ramen, and you think it's going to kill you. Let's zoom out. Take a look at the ramen itself. Oh, hold on. I got to get these, I got to get the assets up here. All right. Excuse me as we switch from the question over to a picture of ramen's ingredients. Because I wanted to be thorough with this, right? I wanted to say, you know what? Maybe I am clouded by my love for ramen. And that is not letting me see the full picture here. All right, here's a packet of ramen. Maruchan ramen, the cheap stuff. So if anything's going to kill you, probably the cheap stuff, right? Ingredients, enriched wheat flour that they, put a bunch of vitamins in. And then one or more of the following. So canola, cottonseed, or palm oil, preservatives, and then less than 1% of salt, soy sauce, sugar, MSG, maltodextrin, some spices, hydrolyzed whey protein powder, turmeric, lactose, natural flavors, blah, blah, blah. Could contain shellfish. If you're allergic to that, you could die from that. Anaphylactic shock ain't no joke. We look at the nutrition facts themselves. It's not exactly a health food with a half block. So if we double everything for the full block here, we're looking at 380 calories. 70% of your daily sodium. Drink plenty of water, you'll flush that out. 14 grams of fat, not awesome. Dietary fiber, very little of it. 8 grams of protein, 52 grams of carbohydrates in the whole thing. So when I look at this, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something here that I'm not seeing. People have villainized MSG. Largely, it's an issue of if you have hypertension, MSG can exacerbate that. High sodium, seed oils, sure. Is ramen something that you should base your entire diet around? No. Is ramen a health food? This one right here, it's not. Freshly made ramen that you would see in Asian cultures, Asian cuisines, maybe. It's a little better than the preserved stuff. But this stuff right here, moderation, even like 5, 6, 7 packets, maybe 1 packet a day of this stuff, in the absence or in the presence of an otherwise healthy diet, plenty of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, all that good stuff, what it sounds like our friend here, the Allfather, is actually doing. That's another picture of me bodybuilding. Gotta get my assets straight here. What our friend Allfather here is doing, it doesn't sound like this guy is like trying to overdo it on the ramen. So, dosage, not an issue for this guy right here. Ingredients, not the best, but nothing in there that's going to be lethal. Imagine if there was like, oh my God, I looked at the label and there's cyanide on it. Holy crap. Has that been in there the whole time? So nothing on the ingredient list that's horrible. The macros themselves aren't great, but they're not terrible. So we need to look at this from more of a cultural lens. So individuals in America who consume a ton of Maruchan, hyper-processed ramen with tons of sodium, they don't work out, maybe they smoke, they drink, sedentary lifestyle, they're overweight. Can we run into issues with someone who already has hypertension consuming a super high sodium diet and the associated water retention causing a spike in that blood pressure, which can cause an issue if there are pre-existing conditions already? Yes, that can cause a problem. Again, that's not the ramen killing them. That is the, overall nutrition of their diet and all the other factors, sedentary, smoker, drinker, high stress environment, high stress lifestyle, all of that stuff is killing them, not the ramen itself. If you, Allfather, are healthy weight, healthy body fat, physically active, maybe the ramen that you got from the shop is a little bit higher quality than Maruchan and you're adding healthy ingredients to it, like vegetables and lean proteins, Should you worry about consuming ramen or a diet that has a good amount of ramen in it? Absolutely not. The ramen is unhealthy messaging is missing the point. It's the same thing that we had around sugar is unhealthy, saturated fat is unhealthy, sodium is unhealthy, MSG is unhealthy. All of this single ingredient equals bad messaging misses the greater point in that if you are eating a poor diet coupled with a sedentary lifestyle and maybe some other factors in your life, you don't work out, you smoke, you drink, high stress, your sleep is garbage, all of those issues together over time can cause health concerns. Your boy sits down for a bowl of ramen, Marushan, obviously, quite frequently. Probably, have 2 of these once every 2 weeks, once a week maybe. Have some of this. It's cheap, tastes good. You mix stuff into it. It's an easy meal when I have to sit down and have something fast. And look at me. I am the picture of health. So, Allfather, don't worry about ramen. Eat your ramen, dog. You just stumbled into my dream scenario. If you want to send me a couple packs, holler at your boy. I would love to take some of that. That's it. That wraps us up. Episode 18. We told you it was a banger, and we delivered. We will see you on the next one. Thank you, as always, for watching. Thank you for your reviews, your comments, your likes. You don't know how far that goes when it comes to making this show great, making this worth our time, and all the effort that goes into this. 100% worth it because you, the viewer, enjoy it, and we love you. We will see you on the next episode. In the meantime, and in between times, and, as always, we would like you to stay gifted.